Hello and welcome to Queendom TV. Today I'm going to be continuing the videos I'm doing on the hashtag Free Britney movement, hashtag Free Britney, giving some updates from my previous videos about it, but also kind of touching on some things I haven't yet touched on. It's such a big subject, I feel like, given that it's gone on for 13 years, but also I feel like there's so many implications surrounding it. So if you're interested, please stay tuned. Maybe grab yourself a drink, maybe grab yourself some popcorn, maybe take some notes. Do you know what I mean? Whatever you feel like, glad to have you, and let's get into the video. So, Free Britney. Now, the first issue that I want to kind of touch on today is the fact that, and I don't think this is being spoken about enough, the fact that a lot of people knew what was going on in a more detailed way than a lot of us who are now supporting the movement, and really did nothing about it. I mean, we've spoken so much about the family, and I'm going to talk about Jamie Lynn in this video again. You know, I spoke about Jamie Lynn in my other video. Check that out if you haven't seen it yet. But I want to talk about the other external people first and kind of move our way in the family that way. So a lot of celebrities have been coming forward and saying, oh, I knew this, or I've kind of been around that, blah, blah, blah. And for me, the sad thing about this, and it's the sad thing about Hollywood in general, is it just goes to show that there are so many people who know what's going on and are doing nothing about it. Because for all of these celebrities, and as much as they want to support now, I kind of feel like this is about the least you could have done. Like, you really should have been saying something from before, or at least directing someone or something somehow, somewhere. Because for us as fans, we didn't know any different. Like, now I'm looking back at so much of Britney's music and I'm like, was she going through it then? Like, oh my gosh, I'm here supporting something that basically her dad might have been forcing her to do, you know, and stuff like that. And I kind of feel icky about it a little bit. Obviously, I'm still going to support her because she got to get that bag, especially since her family's spending all of it. But, you know, it's kind of sad to discover that. But now you're seeing that there are other celebrities who are speaking up about it, and they clearly knew. And this is a big issue that I want to keep mentioning, keep bringing to light. The fact that when these things are happening to childhood stars, there are many adults and others around them who are seeing what is going on and are doing nothing about it. And so that for me is extremely worrying, and why I'm extremely worried about all of the people from Hollywood. Like, for me, this Free Britney thing was not a shock. It was not a surprise, because from seeing how a lot of them turned out, as I've said before, and the fact that although they may have done drugs, or they may have, you know, whatever crazy behaviors they did, they were still incredible artists, which to me kind of suggested that they had the capacity to do the work that they needed to do. So I don't feel like it was ever the work that was making them behave that way. It must have been, I don't know, something. And I kind of felt like that. But then I kind of brushed it off for years, because I was like, you know, they probably just is being famous. And people always do that, like, oh, it's hard being famous, dealing with fame. I don't think it's dealing with fame. I think a lot of it is dealing with abuse and trauma and childhood trauma that they go through within the industry itself. And I think, I'm just thinking about poor Britney, how many scenarios she must have been in. Because if you think about production, if you think even about just doing a concert, like one concert, there are going to be so many people working with you. If you're Britney Spears, there's going to be so many people around you. There's going to be the band, there's going to be the audio and visual team, there's going to be all the production assistants running around making sure everything's working, there's going to be the people from the building itself helping the building run, the ushers, the ticket people, there's going to be probably your management team, there's probably going to be, you know, the dancers, the other performers. There's going to be so many different people, and that's just the ones I can think of off the top of my head. There's going to be so many different types of people that are there who are witnessing what's going on. And so my thought is always, when we're hearing this stuff, it's like, who was there, and why didn't they do anything about it? And I get that some people, you know, they felt intimidated by, I guess, her dad and stuff. But again, I feel like we're just failing people, because there's always something you can do, you know what I mean? Even if it's something really small, even if it's like you're somebody who's Britney's been working with a bunch of people for the past 5 years, and then you decide to just say, you know, did you notice anything weird? Like, you could just message another artist, like, did you notice anything weird when you were like working with Britney Spears that you might not be able to say much about, you know? And I think for people that genuinely care, they'd be willing to do that, because again, what's more important to you? Because for me, I find it really hard to just sit on information that I know is hurting somebody else and not do something about it. For me, that's something I physically cannot do. Like, I have literally left jobs as a result of things like this, because for having to address things that I could not just not sit there and just know about and not address them. You know what I mean? So, anyway, I've got a whole bunch of interesting stories about why I've left all these jobs. If you're interested in knowing, let me know in the comments. I'll make a video about it. So I just kind of wanted to touch on that before we get into the nitty-gritties of everything. So now let's go to, so having that in mind, I already feel bad for Britney. Now let's go to talk to Jamie Lynn, because I mentioned Jamie Lynn. I think she was the first video I did in my whole kind of Free Britney stuff that I've been talking about. And some really interesting things have been coming to light even about her, because recently I've seen that, you know, if anybody that watched Zoe 101, which I actually really liked Zoe 101, and I'm kind of sad that I liked it so much, and I kind of feel like, again, because, and this is what I'm saying about what I was saying before, because so much is allowed to go on. I feel like when we were younger, if you were like younger when these shows came out, you watch these things not thinking into it, and then you discover all these horrendous things, and you kind of feel bad for even like supporting it, although you're happy that you're supporting them because at least they're making money from it. But at the same time, you kind of feel bad, like, wow, is this what was really going on? Like, so anyway, I kind of feel way now about the fact that I enjoyed Zoe 101 so much, not knowing what was really going on. But anyway, so her younger brother from the show has actually been talking a lot about what's been going on and kind of exposing the fact that there is no reboot, even though she keeps saying there's going to be a reboot. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is she's just giving me James Spears vibes. She's just giving me all the James Spears vibes. She's trying to get her daughter on a show. She's on Sweet Magnolias, which I haven't seen. Maybe she's got a fantastic character role on there. There was a picture that was found, I think again by Sloan, and it was like basically her husband was looking at Britney Spears' account, which again, if this is just a random, and this was a random picture she just took just to be like, he's always working or something was the caption. And my thing is like, for you to have just been in a random scenario and just taken a random picture and probably not meaning, because I think she took that picture down in the end or something, and like you're just casually there, but then again you're looking at your sister, and I don't think Britney's even looking at what's going on with her sister at this point. But like Jamie Lynn almost seems so obsessed, like in the same way her dad is there, like with his RV, protecting all of Britney's stuff in its warehouse, like a complete psycho, by the way. I don't really see what the purpose is in that, to be honest with you. And it just makes me think again that everything that Britney's saying about her family when she says she wants to sue all of them, I can see why, you know, because there's nobody standing up in her corner. And I think even with the family members, if you've got, and it's not even that they're not just standing up is what I feel like is now coming to light, actually. I feel like what's coming to light is the fact that they're not standing up, and they're actually also part of the perpetrators as well. Some of the people that were wondering, oh, why didn't you say anything? And, you know, Jamie before was like, oh, how she wasn't saying anything. Why did she say, what was her reasoning? She's like, oh, she just wanted to let her, what is it? She didn't want to come out with it. It was her story to tell. It wasn't something for her to talk about, or whatever nonsense she gave in that live she did on Instagram. And I kind of think now, like, that was an easy thing to say, but in reality it just more seems now like she just wanted to she was a part of the perpetrators as well. She was loving the life she was living off of that money that she's making from her sister. You know, now she's trying to secure that kind of inheritance for herself with her daughter. God forbid we discover that, you know, probably now she can't get her daughter in a conservatorship, but I'm sure if she can control her daughter enough. And this makes me think as well, do you know what I'm actually thinking about Britney? I bet you that she was, I bet you that her family tried to kind of coerce her more into like trusting them, let's say her dad, with her finances. And I bet you she just felt like she didn't need to do that. And because she didn't want to give away herself more rights to her dad, let's say, that's why the conservatorship happened in the first place. I would not be surprised if that is actually what happened. And if now Jamie Lynn thinks she can, and again, it's just funny that Britney's called Britney, and then Jamie has got her two parents' names, Jamie and Lynn, which again, obviously could mean nothing. But for me, again, it kind of like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like generational curses are passed through by names. And this is why I don't even think it's great to always just be passing on your child's name, because you might be passing on your demons with them. So, and that's a video for another day. But yeah, so I kind of feel a bit icky about that. But yeah, so now her younger brother from the show, first of all, it looks like the fans are way more interested in him doing a show on his own, which I thought was hilarious, by the way. I thought it was hilarious, and honestly I would actually be more interested in seeing a reboot with just him at this point, because he was so young and he looks so much older now, so I'd love to know like where he's at in life. I don't think any of us who watched it are interested in seeing Jamie Lynn's daughter in the show, which again just makes me think she's giving me James vibes. And that just further shows that, you know, unfortunately in this world, unfortunately a lot of people who can appear to be good or nice, and I've already said this so many times, I don't believe in good people except from Jesus, they're not really that nice at the end of the day. And I think because we're so quick to always assume that people are nice, this is why people like Britney Spears are in the situation they're in. You know, so many people wanted to discredit the things that were going on with her. So many people wanted to just put things down to her age. And it's like, you're not talking about her age, you're talking about how incredible she is as a performer, and how talented and how organized and how disciplined she has to even be able to perform like this. Because other performers out there, they just stand on stage and they just sing. She's singing, she's dancing, she's writing her own music, she's doing a whole bunch of things, you know. She's I mean, like I mentioned before, she taught her own dances in her Vegas residency whilst being under these drugs from she's in under her conservatorship, whilst not being happy being in the conservatorship, and she's still killing it. So it's just like, and the only reason why she's not performing now is because she chose not to, not because her dementia. Like, who's even saying a 26-year-old has dementia, or even a 39-year-old as she is now has dementia? It's ridiculous. So again, it's just one of those things where things suit people when it suits them. When it suits people, they say, oh, she's young, oh, she's this, oh, she's going through a lot, she can't cope. And when it suits them, oh, but she can do a Vegas residency and teach her own dances and do this and do this and do this. It just doesn't really add up to me at all. And also given the fact that she has been abused even by, and again, she said in her testimony that she has been abused by some of the therapists and the people that her dad has specifically put around her in her conservatorship. And I'm like, how on earth, as somebody that loves someone, how can you even, I just think he's on the next level of evil. I think he's on the next level of evil. And the fact for me that him and, like I said, Liam Taylor and Jamie Lynn all try and act like, oh, God this, God that, it infuriates me. It infuriates me to the core, because they have, like I said in the other video, they've got nothing to do with God, because God does not behave in this way. They are so totally and utterly evil. And I'm so grateful, update, that Britney has now, with her new lawyer, we thank God she's had a new lawyer now. And this lawyer is one of the like top Hollywood lawyers kind of guys. And so the first step they're now doing is getting her dad off of the conservatorship. But again, and this is something that I just want to point out about the situation, even though Britney has made the testimony she's made, let's not forget the fact that she still now has not come out of that conservatorship. And to me, that just says so much. Like, I'm trying to see, because I took notes on the day when she did her testimony. I hope I wrote the date of when this went down. Hold on. Did I write the date? Was it in this notebook? Oh, I don't think it was in this notebook. Anyway, she said in her testimony she wanted out, but have you noticed she still isn't out yet? So again, even with all the voices, even with all the changes, there is still clearly so much resistance just to give Britney what she wants, even though she's more than proven that she's able to do what she wants to, what she needs to do. And I mean, side note as well, and this will be my last point for this video, because I could go on and on and on and on about things to do with the Free Britney movement. Justin Timberlake. Let's talk about Justin Timberlake, because Justin Timberlake, I've now discovered. Now, the reason why I mention Justin Timberlake now is because I've seen 2 cases with Justin Timberlake now, and I was a big fan of Justin Timberlake prior to these 2 cases. So prior to me mentioning the Britney thing, I'm going to talk about something else, which I feel like is going to give strength to my point about Britney Spears, right? I don't know if you guys know, there was a Super Bowl performance with Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson. At the end of the performance, he like pulled her top, because basically what happened is a bunch of smoke went up, and I think their platform went down, and at the last second he tried to pull her top, which was kind of a bra, and exposed her breast. Hope I'm allowed to say that. Yeah, so that was a situation, and then that basically tanked a lot of Janet Jackson's career after that, because a lot of people felt that was distasteful. A lot of people thought she was being indecent. Obviously, the Super Bowl is a massive family event. I mean, you didn't actually get to see it. If you watched it live and you just watched the video, you can't actually see it. But if you like slow down, and I didn't bother to do this, but this is what people have said, and I believe it's probably possible. Like, if you slow down the video, you can like get to the like whatever milliseconds to actually see her boob. So people were really upset about that. People were slandering her on the news, and no one said anything about Justin Timberlake. And even to this day, we don't really know if, I mean, she's claiming that it was unexpected. I think a lot of people are claiming that it was unexpected. I'm not sure if she definitely claimed that, because I can't remember, but a lot of people are claiming that she didn't know that that was going to happen. A lot of people are claiming that they did know. Either way, we don't have clarity, and either way, one person's career has gone on and moved forward, and one person's career has gone on and moved forward, but nowhere near as much. And so that brings me now to Britney, because a lot of people have speculated that with Britney Spears, what has gone on is she has a lot of Justin Timberlake songs, like, you know, the Cry Me a Rivers, the What Comes Around Goes Around. Apparently all of these songs are actually about Britney Spears, and in a way to, and because he's been, I can't remember who said this, I wish I could remember the person on YouTube who said this, and if anybody's heard this, please let me know in the comments. But apparently Justin Timberlake has a kind of almost a habit now of using other people to kind of step above in his career, like to kind of step on them. And I feel like even with what was going on with Britney, she seemed at the time, and this is again why in life, unfortunately, a lot of the time, it doesn't pay you well to be good, to be a good or nice person. It does not. Because while Britney was being all lovely and innocent around that time and not really talking about what happened, what went wrong with her and Justin too much, and kind of protecting him, he was subliminally saying a lot of things that a lot of people suspected at the time, which I didn't know, I found out later on, was suspecting that these messages were about things that Britney Spears had done, and he was painting her in a really negative light. And so it's just one of those things where I just think to myself, I kind of get it now. Like, you can kind of see where he's coming from. And even I think it was in Cry Me a River or What Comes Around Goes Around, one of them, he even had an actress in the video who looked exactly like, very similar to Britney Spears as well. And again, so it's like, first of all, why you got to step on people to get bigger? Why can't you just let your talent speak for itself and just move on? But secondly, it's just another example of how clearly how kind-hearted Britney is. And this is why I'm really such a big fan of Britney Spears, to be honest with you, and why I really believe that, you know, God is right behind her right now and helping, you know, facilitate all these changes in her conservatorship right now. Because you can just tell from the fact that so many people can just take advantage of her. I feel like she must genuinely be such a lovely person, you know, because obviously it's always the lovely people that people take advantage of ultimately. If you're somebody that takes advantage of people, you're not probably going to take advantage of somebody who also takes advantage of people, because you're going to both know your own tactics, if that makes sense. But yeah, so it's kind of sad even for that. And you just think there's just so many layers to what's going on. And I just thank God that to this day, Britney didn't like kill herself or something, because you would totally understand somebody doing something like that, like having gone through all this stuff. That's something that can really damage people. And again, I don't think a lot of people can handle it. And that's what even annoys me, when people are like, oh, well, she was on a conservatorship because she was doing this and she was doing that, she was losing her mind. Well, at least she didn't kill herself. Because I think a lot of people, had they gone through the things that we know she's gone through, let alone the things we don't know that she's gone through, would not have survived. So anyway, I don't want to go hop on and on and on. I just want to touch on a few things. I mainly just wanted to give the updates and kind of touch on a few other areas of things that I feel like we're not putting enough attention on in this whole Free Britney movement, because I really feel like this is an opportunity for Britney to kind of be the front runner in exposing Hollywood, but really for us to look into Hollywood and just understand, like, especially for those of us who grew up when these people were kind of like really coming out as stars and everything like that, for us to really reflect on like how life has progressed. And like, I would never have thought back in the days of Oops, I Did It Again, that I would be here sitting here even thinking about these things, let alone making a YouTube video as part of a massive movement to free Britney Spears from like an invisible prison. Like, I never expected for that to be the case. So yeah, I'm very interested to see what's going on behind closed doors. At some point I'm gonna make a video, I feel like maybe with my suspicions of what I feel like is going on behind the scenes, but it's a lot to keep up with. And I also want to try and make sure that I can educate myself as much as possible. Obviously everything I say, go and check it out, like go and check out the facts, but a lot of the things that I've said, you can see evidences of them, especially like the Jamie Lynn stuff. Like, you can go and find the evidence out there if you want to look for it, but I'm just kind of just commenting on it myself. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning into Queendom TV. Thank you, and well done to everybody in the hashtag Free Britney movement. I'm so glad that we're really behind her, and I really think right now she has her fans more than she even has her family, and a lot of people that are close to her. The boyfriend, we're going to come back to him in another video, I'm sure. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching the video. Please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the video if you like the video, and please leave a comment on your thoughts. I've been loving hearing everybody's thoughts. People have been bringing things to my mind that I didn't think about. And it's just been really nice getting to speak with other people who kind of care about this as well. So thank you so much for watching my video, and I'll see you next time. This has been Queendom TV, and you have been awesome. Bye.